what's going on? This is Jeremy at ibl.ai, and today I'm showing you our professional narrative AI mentor. So, in a nutshell, what this mentor is designed to do is help students who may be close to completing their college journey, might be getting their feet wet in terms of internships or even applying for entry-level post-grad jobs, put together a high-quality, high-level professional narrative, right, that we can use for job interviews or resumes or even just sharing on LinkedIn. The idea being a professional narrative is basically a story, right, that tells employers, professionals, etc., who you are, what you've done, what motivates you, what drives you to success, and what do you hope to accomplish. It's basically your elevator pitch, which can range from a quick 30-second snippet to, sometimes a 3.5 page document that you would submit along with a resume. And also being able to craft that professional narrative around a specific audience. So the way that the mentor works is I've basically given it a series of questions that it's meant to ask students, collect their information that they share, and help them put together that initial professional narrative. So, here are a number of the questions within the sequence, what we're looking for from the user, instructions about how the mentor should engage, right? We want this to be very engaging and friendly because getting into the job force is incredibly stressful, right? We want to make this as soft of a pillow as we possibly can and ensure that students and learners are feeling encouraged the entire walk of the process. So basically the system prompt is just containing, what kind of questions it is, what the overall goal of this mentor is, how it should communicate with students, things of that nature. I've also trained this mentor on a professional narrative series of questions here. So the mentor now has a very specific set of questions that it's going to ask in order to put together that professional profile to craft that professional narrative. So the first thing a user is going to do is come in and just simply say, I need help crafting my professional narrative. The mentor is going to introduce itself, saying, I'm the professional narrative mentor. I'll guide you step by step through a few short questions to help you create a professional narrative that reflects your goals, values, and experiences. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to hang tight on every single aspect of this conversation, but I did want to work through the entire interaction from a user perspective just to test the efficacy of this mentor. So what the mentor is doing, and please feel free to pause at any point if you'd like to read in a bit more depth, but it's going through this questionnaire, so to speak, this series of questions that I've shared with the mentor to get an idea of who I am, what I've done so far, what I'm looking to do in the future, both in the short or long term, what motivates me, what skills have I gained, all to create this unified picture of the individual student as a professional. So once we get to the end of the questions, the mentor is going to be very supportive and encouraging in its words. Excellent, you've demonstrated continuous learning, initiative, and thoughtful career planning. Here's your draft professional narrative. And the way that I've structured the mentor is to just kind of create a baseline narrative, right? So we don't want the mentor to spit something out that's 4 pages long. That's going to take us a very long time to sit back and edit. We also don't want something that's way too short and doesn't cover the full scope of who the student is as a professional. So the initial output is going to be somewhere in the 3 to 4 paragraph range, which is just enough space for you to make a case for yourself and tell a story about yourself in an interview without kind of going overboard, so to speak. But the next thing that it's going to do is ask, would you like me to help you shorten or refine this version for a specific purpose? So let's say it's the LinkedIn About section or a quick 30-second elevator pitch. Tell me who you are, a very common question that comes up in job interviews. So the mentor is going to basically say, I'm really glad you like it. You've built a powerful story. I can help create a shorter version around 75 to 125 words. Here it is. I can also create an even shorter one. We also want to make sure that the mentor is capable of creating a longer one. So I asked the mentor, I'd like to put together a longer version, maybe around 2,000 words. So the mentor says that's a great idea. A 2,000 word version will let you explore your experiences and motivations in more depth, but in order to do that together, let's go a little bit more in depth, right? The amount of information that we got thus far, perfect for creating that quick, 3 to 4 paragraph pitch, as well as any kind of shortened and condensed pitch that you might need. But if we're going to go much larger in scope, maybe we should dive deeper into your personal experiences and details. So again, asking, could you tell me a bit more of the following? Your academic focus, any projects you've worked on campus, what your personal perspective is, and what your tone preference is. So again, just prompting the student to keep diving deeper into their own experiences to really craft that high-level professional narrative. And in a nutshell, that is it. That is the Professional Narrative AI Mentor. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, learn more at ibl.ai.